All right, thanks very much for joining us once again. It is the Netcrashers Intermission on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Netcrashers.ca, and YouTube. What are you at, YouTube?
Hey.
Hi.
Greener's in the house.
Hi-yo.
Reynolds in the house.
Good to be here.
Leth is in the house as well. Thanks for joining us for the second edition of the Netcrashers Intermission. And in case you missed last week's episode, I guess the premiere of the intermission last week, we'll just run down exactly what the intermission is going to be. And the intermission is basically we take 2 minute minor. We kind of revamped it a little bit. We take 2 minutes to talk about one topic total, and it's not broken up into 40-second increments as it used to be. It's actually 2 minutes. It's super official. We've got a timer and everything, and we talk about a topic in 2 minutes. And a little bit later on, we'll actually have our very first chirp of the week that was sent into us via Twitter as well. That is coming up, of course. I don't know. What do you say? We just get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's dive in there.
And this week, we received a question through our website.
It's coming from Jerry on Netcrashers.ca.
Yeah, he asked us, who do we think is going to be the next player to become elite at their particular position? So we thought, that's a great question. There's a lot of up and comers that happen every year. There's guys who break through and have those breakthrough performances. So we're going to reach into our crystal ball and try and predict who's going to be great over the course of the season.
All right, Reynolds, you seem eager. You want to kick us off?
I will. Sure.
Alrighty. So it's the 2 minute minor portion of the Netcrashers Intermission. It starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
My player is Kyle Okposo of the New York Islanders. He has great draft pedigree, 7th overall in 2006. Paid his dues first playing in the University of Minnesota and later Bridgeport Sound Tigers of the AHL. He had the most productive year of his career last season, 69 points, 71 games. Through 5 games this year, he has a shooting percentage that's down from last year, but above his point-per-game pace from last year. As long as he continues to get minutes with Tavares, he should continue to improve, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's selected to the All-Star game this season. And follow him at BookerT2116 on Twitter.
Wayne Simmonds is beginning to emerge as a premier two-way player for the Philadelphia Flyers, sporting a career-high 29 goals, 60 points last year, not to mention going +4 on a team that gave up 235 goals last year. As far for this year, with the departure of Scotty Hartnell to the Columbus Blue Jackets, Simmonds has been given the opportunity to play on the first line of the Philadelphia Flyers, as well as the first line power play, and relishing the opportunity so far with 7 points in 5 games so far this season, and is on a goal-per-game basis right now. Look out for Wayne Simmonds. He's going to be one of the best two-way players this year.
And staying in the Eastern Conference, I'm taking a defenseman and my player to watch as far as becoming elite at their position. It's Victor Hedman. He seems poised to make the jump to the upper echelon of NHL defenders. His 55 points in 75 games last season was damn impressive, and his 7 points in 4 games to start this season seems like he could even improve on that. 5 of Hedman's points, including 2 of his 3 goals, have come on the man advantage. And with the additions of to the Lightning's defensive core like Jason Garrison and Anton Stralman, Hedman should be freed up to take on a more offensive role, which should have a positive impact on the Lightning's already solid offensive attack. And he could be the next to join the likes of Erik Karlsson and PK Subban as a premier offensive defenseman in the NHL. And I think it's kind of interesting that offensive defensemen they're really being bred in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. You don't see it so much in the Western.
I totally agree with Victor Hedman. I think when you compare him to Wayne Simmonds, he has youth on his side and more upside right now.
Absolutely. There it is. There it is.
Jazz hands.
We were a little bit early on that one. That's okay though. That's no problem.
You don't want to get cut off by that noisy buzzer.
No, exactly.
It's very loud.
But I think it's always interesting to watch these kinds of players as they start to enter into the take on the quote unquote elite role. I would think that it's a lot easier for a defenseman to get there than a forward.
Yeah, depending on what team that they're playing with.
Yeah.
You could have a team like the Boston Bruins, a team that's so defensively minded. A guy could just come in and kind of just keep rolling with the punches that's already going with the team. Or you could have somebody like Ryan Murray, who is going to have to slowly but surely make his way into the lineup in the Columbus, and will eventually, in a couple of years from now, we'll be talking about him in this exact same segment.
Absolutely. And I think, you brought up the Boston Bruins. I think that they do have a quote-unquote elite forward in Patrice Bergeron, but I don't think it's because of his, offensive numbers.
No.
Per se. I know he's a 30-goal scorer, but he's become elite based on his two-way play. He's one of the best two-way centermen in the NHL. I think the top 3 it's him, Taves, and Anze Kopitar, without a doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the common thing one of the common things between the three of those players is the ability to win faceoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's something that you can have a guy who can score. And we talked about Steven Stamkos in the episode 105 earlier this week. I mean, he can score goals, but so far in the season, he's had a face-off percentage below 50%.
Yeah, below the norm for Steven Stamkos. And especially if, someone like Steven Stamkos, they're going to put him out in the offensive zone face-offs. And if you lose those, well, then you lose control of the puck right away. The puck's going heading down the rink. And you might be in trouble.
And just to talk about Wayne Simmons for a quick minute, I considered picking him because at the beginning of the season, I said this guy's going to have a great year, especially with the absence of Scotty Hartnell. The reason why I didn't go with him is if you look at his age, I mean, he's a bit older. He's established himself in the NHL. I think he's going to have a chance in Philadelphia this year to do something he hasn't done and have more ice time. But I think he is the player that we see on ice, and there's not too much development yet. When you talk about Victor Hedman, he's 22 years old.
Yeah.
He had at least 45 points last year.
He's into his sixth NHL season. Started as an 18-year-old. He's a guy that it's been a bit of a learning curve. It's been a bit of a slower process. I mean, he was the second overall pick behind Jonathan Tavares and just ahead of Matt Duchene in 2008. You know what I mean? So it's been a bit of a learning curve for Victor Hedman, but man, oh man, is he getting there? Like, I mean, just watching him with the puck, he just has such. He's so confident. It seems like he's a lot more confident than he used to be with the puck. You know, it seems like he's. We saw him set up Steven Stamkos as almost a rink wide pass earlier.
That was such a good pass.
It was last week. It was just remarkable to see him taking those strides as far as becoming an offensive defenseman.
He's going to relish being on the power play with Steven Stamkos down in Tampa. And that's something that Wayne Simmons is going to relish being on the power play with Claude Giroux, already with 3 power play goals so far this year.
Exactly.
You know, he's a guy that's going to be in front of the net for all the power play. And we've seen soft hands. We've seen him, cradle back the puck in one of his goals. I believe it was either the first or second game for Philadelphia in the year. So all 3 of these players are going to be outstanding this year. Hopefully we're right. But as of right now, these guys are on track for having breakout seasons.
Absolutely, for sure. Now let's get to this week's Chirp of the Week, shall we? Our Chirp of the Week came in from our good buddy Daryl Charlton, and Daryl Charlton sent in a pretty great chirp. I think this is not specifically directed at anybody. It wasn't listed as such in the tweet itself, but Daryl tweeted at us, "I've seen better hands on a digital clock," which I think is that's just great. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one before. So if maybe your pickup hockey started recently, you're looking at something to scream at somebody else when you're on the bench, that's a real good one.
There's not much of a comeback for that.
I've seen better hands on a digital clock. That's as good as it's nice, it's short, sweet, simple. It gets to the point.
You could say that as you're coasting by a player.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
All right.
And it's perfect to chirp on the internet because I mean it has that cachet. I mean if you're a player on the ice, you might call a guy a plug, you might call him a duster. It's easier to it's shortened to the point. That's even shorter.
But it's more creative than that.
It is, yeah.
For sure. So and also, I mean, we're living in a 140 character world now.
Yeah.
And so conciseness is definitely an asset. So,
you live or die by the 140 characters.
Yeah, pretty much. So Daryl Chartler, the very first ever Chirp of the Week, coming in via Twitter, and you can tweet your own chirps at us. You can either chirp us, we welcome that. Chirp at us. If you
chirp us, we will chirp back.
We will chirp back. We're ready for you.
I actually, for a second, I thought Daryl was chirping me and my design of the clock for this segment.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about my clock for a second.
But
son of a bitch.
Tweet him at us at Netcrashers as well. You can use the hashtag Netcrashers Chirp. And let us know what I could see this getting really fun. You can tweet, like, say if you're sat down at home watching the game and somebody does something stupid, let us know what, tweet it at us. Let us embrace the hate, so to speak.
Yeah. We're going to laugh at them all.
Absolutely.
And the funnier they are, the more we're going to laugh. Yeah. And who not likes to watch us laugh?
Exactly.
On YouTube.
And I mean, you never know. You might make the Netcrashers Intermission. You never know. You just never know.
You just might be good enough, kid. To make the Netcrashers Intermission.
All right, so that just about wraps up the Netcrashers Intermission, the second edition of. Make sure that you do subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that stuff, and keep it locked. Of course, tomorrow we've got our chat with Jeremy Taggart coming up So make sure that you drop on by for that as well. And Reynolds, you can let them know where to find us online.
Netcrashers Hockey Podcast. You can find us. The easiest way to find us is Netcrashers.ca. That's the home base to all things Netcrashers. You got the link to iTunes. You got the link to YouTube. You got Facebook. You got
Stitcher
Radio. If you use Stitcher Radio, use the promo code Netcrashers, and remember to rate and review with Stitcher and iTunes. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And the final way to get in touch, and the best way, is on Twitter, hashtag NetCrashersChirp, and we are at Netcrashers on Twitter. I'm at Jeremy_Reynolds. The boys, they'll tell you how to get in touch as well.
I'm at Stephen Leth, STPHENLETH, hashtag Netcrashers Chirp. Chirp us. Do it. I dare you.
I am at NL Greener. And thanks again for watching. Like I said, tomorrow, Jeremy Taggart, and then episode 106 coming to you next Monday. And always, lace 'em up.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Netcrashers Intermission. Make sure that you do subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the show, iTunes, Stitcher Radio. Check us out at Netcrashers.ca. Follow us on social media, Facebook and Twitter. And make sure you tune in to episode 106. It's coming out this coming Monday. Make sure you tune in because we'll have the details on the very first giveaway with Sick Hockey that we are doing of this season. So make sure that you tune in. Always remember, lace 'em up.